Allah says, number one is me. Then your parents, but if they tell you to worship other than me, then you don't obey that. But everything else, you still obey them. Treat them with kindness, honor, respect, and dignity. There are many things that we talked about in the way that Muslims should behave. So now we've got some questions here from the youth, and I'd like to deal with that. It begins with asking for advice for our youth who live under the peer pressure in the schools and in society. For instance, the non-Muslim youth are going out on dates. They go to the prom. They have their own dress code or lack of dress code. Watching television, listening to music, video games, and so on. I remember what my mom told me when I was a boy. And this is in Christianity. It's also in Islam. It's also in Judaism. And that is, just because other people do something doesn't give you the excuse to do it. And my mom used to say, if everybody else jumped off a bridge, would you go off and jump off the bridge too? And of course you wouldn't. So in the same way that you would use your simple little brain here to realize just because other people do something doesn't make it right. And in fact, we find from the Quran, Allah tells us very clear in the Quran that many people, when you try to call them to worship of Allah, worship God alone without any partners, they say, what? And forsake the religion of our forefathers? We found them worshiping something else, and we're going to continue doing the same thing. Why? Because everybody else does it. So peer pressure, when other people do it, is not an example for us. And if you're the only person on earth who is worshiping Allah alone without partners, then it's your responsibility to continue being that good Muslim, regardless of what everybody else does. As far as the specific examples you mentioned, dating. In Islam, it is forbidden for us to have sex except in marriage. We can't do that. So when a person wants to go on a quote unquote date, a boy and a girl together, what are they asking for? What is it that you want to do? If you said it's just a friend, well, girls can have girlfriends and boys can have boyfriends. Okay? Don't kiss them though. Oh. What is it that you're trying to say? Well, we're just going to have fun. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. Well, one thing leads to another. We've talked about how Shaitan brings everything step by step by step. He doesn't just introduce you to the idea of worshiping other than Allah. He brings it by little steps to take you away from Allah. The prom. The prom is where people get all dressed up, okay, or dressed down, depending on, showing off their bodies. They're not going to wear a hijab. Who's going to wear a hijab to a prom? Who? They're going to laugh at you if you wear that, right? Come on. Listening to music, very loud music, and of course they have to dance. You go to a prom, you've got to dance. I mean, if you don't, it's like, yeah, what did you come for? And the food there may not be halal either. And in fact, they may have alcohol in some of the drinks. That's real popular amongst high school students for years, centuries maybe, I don't know, that they spike the punch. They put alcohol into the punch bowl, and they put the kind of alcohol that you can't taste. And people get drunk and they think it's real funny. And then on the way home, they have car accidents, people get killed. You know how it works. And you did it all in the name of having a prom. SubhanAllah. Muslims have their own agenda. We can live in the world, but we don't have to be of the world. We have our way. Now you ask about dress code. The dress code in Islam is a very simple one. You don't have to wear a kufi to be a Muslim. Boys don't have to wear kufis. And girls don't have to wear hijab. They don't. As long as they don't go out in public. They don't. If you're at home, you don't wear it at home, do you? Why would you want to wear it at home? You didn't need to. But in the Catholic Church, the nuns have to wear theirs all the time, even when there's only women there, and they wear it from the time they get up to the time they go to bed, because it's a religious item. Whereas for the Muslim sisters, it's not sacred, it's not a religious item, it is a protection for you. It is something that Allah has commanded you to do, and you're obeying Allah. But it won't make you holy. If you wear it, it won't guarantee you're going to go to paradise. But if you don't wear it, you could get punished by Allah in this life and in the next life. The dress code for all the Muslims is the same. What is between your knees and your belly button or your navel must never be seen by anybody. That's always covered all the time, boys and girls. When boys are present, then girls have to cover more. But in front of other girls, the top part can be shown to other girls. It's not a problem. For instance, when the mother wants to nurse her baby, the girls can watch the mother nurse the baby. It's no problem. Nobody has a problem with this. But if some other people come over to visit, well then obviously she now has to cover herself up, because she shouldn't be seen by people that are forbidden to her. And then when she goes out, she covers even more, because she needs to be recognized as the true believer that she is, and not show off the shape of her body. So it's pretty simple. The colors, this is a matter of the society and the culture that she knows about, and the style, etc. And there are many. So you can get a lot of information about this in more detail, but that's a general statement about the clothes. Television. The television. Many people ask me the question, is TV haram? The answer has to be no, because unless you have a proof, you can't say haram on anything. But I will tell you, I can say the television is not haram as long as you don't plug it in. Because most of the programming on there is not good. Most of the things on the television are not good. They violate some parts of Islam. Most of what I don't like about the television is the way it teaches children to disrespect their parents. Many of the programs that you watch on television show parents being stupid or put down, and the children are being very abusive toward each other and toward their parents. Examples: South Park, Beavis and Butthead, The Simpsons are very, very much against Islam. Your children should not be allowed to watch television that's broadcast over the air, but you could go to the library and check out videos that you approve of and let them watch that. Especially if you'd like to watch the animal programs and things along this line. They're free. You go to the library, you get what you want, you watch that, and then you're done. No commercials, because commercials can pop in and put horrible stuff in front of your children when you did least expected it. If you want the news, use the radio. It's updated more often than the television is, because in the TV they keep rerunning the same news over and over. But if something real late breaking, such as the earthquakes we just had, then that is going to be on the radio a lot quicker, especially on the weather radio. You can listen to that. But don't make the excuse, well, we have to have the TV on to catch the news or watch the sports. Because now we're going to come to another subject. You didn't ask me about this kind of game. You asked about video games. But I want to tell you about sports. Most Muslims will tell you all sports are okay, no problem. The Prophet ﷺ encouraged his companions to involve themselves and participate in activities to build their physical strength, and competition is fine. Is that true?